Hello and welcome to the Real Travel Show, where we take you on an exciting journey of fascinating places around the world. Invite your friends. Be my guest on this weekly journey around the world. Discover the food. Oh yes, my friend. The music, arts, culture, and the magical sights and sounds.
Welcome to the Real Travel Show with me, yours truly, Ras Mubarak, and you, my friend, are very welcome. From Amsterdam Airport here in the Netherlands, it's yours truly, Ras Mubarak. If you're in Oslo, in Bergen or Tromsø, I'm going to see you in Norway in a couple of weeks. But first, I'm heading out to the United States of America, to Texas, cowboy country, arguably the best place to be a cowboy. And yes, my friend, you would see me wearing my cowboy hats, boots, Wrangler jeans, riding a horse and living a cowboy lifestyle. I'll be bringing you all of these fascinating stuff from around the world. Very shortly, we'll be landing at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Our flight to this place has been 9 hours 25 minutes from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. It's been an enjoyable flight, and I'm looking forward to touching down. Now, in case you did not know, the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport is the busiest airport in the world. It is one airport that is crucial to the economy of the state of Georgia. This airport alone generates about $34.8 billion annually. So that's quite significant in terms of revenue mobilization. I'm going to be connecting to another busy airport, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. That is the 5th busiest airport in the world. Seeing, they say, is believing. I'm heading to my boarding gate. To do that, I would have to pick a train, underground train, of course, and that is all within the airport. That is how well structured this particular airport is. Forget about Dubai Airport. This is the busiest, and we are looking forward to our journey in this country. We can't do so many states, and we can't even do so many cities. In this edition, we are doing just a fraction, which is the city of Dallas in the state of Texas. And there's so much to see in the city of Dallas. We're going to be visiting President George W. Bush's presidential library. We would visit the Frontiers of Flight Museum, everything aviation, military, Navy. You see some fascinating stuff. Of course, I'm going to be riding a horse, living a cowboy lifestyle. We would visit the Perot Museum of Nature and Science and some other interesting things in Dallas. And more importantly, we would be at the very spot that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and we'll bring you some very interesting videos from there. Roaming open country, I'm a traveling man. Roaming open country, yeah. I'm a traveling man, doing the work of Imperial Majesty. I'm a traveling man, Mr. Roy, Big Youth, Charlie Chaplin, Yellow Man traveling man, we're traveling 10,000 miles. Roaming open country. Whoa. Shabaram, put you dread, brigadier. Roaming open country, I'm a traveling man. We're traveling, oh, my traveling man. Lord, yeah. You're watching The Real Travel Show with me, Ras Mubarak. We're still here in Dallas, Texas, the United States of America. And we're here at the 6th floor museum, where in 1963, on the 22nd of November, the 35th president of the United States of America was shot and killed, tragically, I must say. Why are we here? Why is this place called the 6th floor museum? We're going to find out in a jiffy. Come with me as we check out
what's inside the sixth floor museum.
So that's a bust of President JFK, and you're going to be seeing some plates and cutlery. Now, these were set for him to have lunch on the day he was shot in 1963. Unfortunately, that lunch never happened, and the entire set of cutlery were brought into the museum. And those boxes you see, because the building used to be the Texas Book Depository, and those books have been packed in boxes and stashed away. It's a very interesting museum. This is the entire building, a replica of the building in the street from where JFK was shot. This here, my friends, is the exact gun, the gun that Lee Harvey used to kill or to assassinate President JFK. And it's on display in the museum. And you can see directly from the street where his convoy came from. And you can see from this picture that was taken in the 60s, this is how everything happened. He looked across the window. As you can see, vehicles coming, and then shots fired from the president's convoy just at that particular bend. Very tragic indeed. Very sad. A blot on the history of peaceful and quiet Texas. Now that's Lee Harvey. That's the exact copy of his passport actually. He got trained in the US Army. He defected to USSR, married a Russian woman, and the ring you see is his wedding ring. I'm talking about the assassin, the man who killed JFK, and that's his Russian wife on your screen over there. That is a mark shot of the murderer, the man who has assassinated JFK. Now, interesting things happened. Just before he was arraigned before court, Lee Harvey was shot dead by a man called Jack Ruby, and that's Jack Ruby in your shot over there. There's still a lot of conspiracy out there as to why Jack Ruby shot and killed Lee Harvey. But that's President John F. Kennedy's mortal remains carried onto a flight for the memorial service, as you can see again in your shot over there.
In so short a time, the report found that this bullet, the pristine bullet, struck the president and then wounded Governor Conley in 4 places. The critics countered that this virtually undamaged bullet could not possibly have caused so many wounds.
Now, a great deal of speculation that the president and I were hit with the same bullet. That might well be, but it surely wasn't the first bullet.
Whatever the praise or criticism, this monument behind me is a painful reminder to residents and visitors alike of the shame that one of its residents, Lee Oswald Harvey, brought to this city on that cold November day in 1963 when he assassinated the 35th president of the United States of America. Well, America's moved on, and so must we. We are about to head to another location here in the city of Dallas to bring you more interesting stuff, more fascinating stuff, more intriguing stuff on The Real Travel Show as we showcase to you exciting places from around the world. Hello and welcome to The Real Travel Show, where we take you on an exciting journey of fascinating places around the world. Invite your friends. Be my guest on this weekly journey around the world. Discover the food. Oh yes, my friend. The music, arts, culture, and the magical sights and sounds. Welcome to The Real Travel Show with me, yours truly, Ras Mubarak. And you, my friend, are very welcome. Welcome back to the program. My name is Ras Mubarak and you are watching The Real Travel Show. We are coming to you from South Lake in Dallas, Texas, United States of America. You can see some riders on their horses returning from a trail ride
run by David Alexander at the Widowmaker Trail Rides. I'm looking forward to jumping on one of these horses. Before I talk to David, I'm going to talk to his daughter, who knows a lot about these horses.
With the spotted, they're called Appaloosas.
Appaloosas. Okay.
And
How old is that one?
I'm not sure how old he is.
Okay.
I know this is our oldest one, and this is Shotgun, and that's his name, and he
Shotgun.
is 22 years old.
Oh.
Pretty old, yeah. Horses
Almost as
normally
old
live-
as you.
I know. Yeah. Horses normally live to like 20 to 30, so he's getting a bit older.
Wow.
And then these are Palomino horses.
What do you call them?
Palomino.
Palomino.
That's the type of horse, and that's actually my last name. Because I just got married, and
Okay.
his last name is Palomino.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yep, so those are the tan-colored ones.
Okay.
And then, I'm not sure how old all of them are. That's my
Okay.
dad, but... Yep,
And they're all female horses?
they're all males.
Male horses.
Yep.
Okay.
This is Taco. This is his name.
Taco.
Yep.
Do they respond to their names?
Not really.
You've never really.
Not really.
Not really.
No. Yep. Yeah.
So what is it like? Looking after these awesome animals.
It's a lot of work, for sure.
A lot of
People
work.
think it's easy, but it is a lot of work, and it's pretty expensive too. But they're all very tame and very chill. Horses have a very chill vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but they're all boys, and they all act like brothers too. They'll fight with each other, and there's always in each like stables there's always a hierarchy. So there's one guy that's in charge,
Okay.
and all the other ones follow behind them. He's the leader.
How long have you been doing this?
I've had this business for 20 years in
That-
June.
That's a lifetime.
Yeah.
Family business?
Just me. Yeah. Me and my family.
Okay.
When my kids lived at home, they did shoveled the horse manure, and my wife helps with training the horses, and I take people on the rides.
Okay. And how did this come about?
Well,
Passion?
Yeah, friends. We would take people riding back here on the trails, and they were having so much fun. I used to board horses, so I took care of other people's horses, and they would ride back there, and they'd say, "David, come show us the trail." So I would lead them on a ride, and they started saying, "It's so much fun. I want to do more of this. I want to bring my cousin." I took an early retirement from them about 12 years ago and started doing this full time.
Interesting. And it pays the bills?
Oh yeah,
That's good. Can we have a ride?
you bet.
All right.
Yep, I'll bring him right over here. I'm gonna bring this saddle or this step to make it a little easier for you to get on. There's Roz and Dutch, and we're gonna just take him back over here to the trailer, and then he knows that his day is finished, so he's done all this work. We rode down to the lake, did the 2-hour trail ride, and now he's gonna hang out with his buddies and have some lunch at the barn. Here's the rest of these guys. They already did their ride, and they're waiting for me to take their saddles off.
Is it expensive to look after these guys?
Oh yeah, it's the biggest part of it is the cost to take care of them. It's really cheap to buy a horse compared to what it takes to take care of
How
them.
much would a horse like this cost?
It just depends. Right now, horses are kind of expensive in Texas, and horses like these that are good trail horses, they're not rodeo horses. They don't earn money at the rodeo, but they're good calm trail horses. They're bringing $6,000 to $8,000, maybe $10,000. Whereas 3 or 4 years ago, they were $5,000, $6,000, $7,000.
So 3 to 6 will get you something like this.
To what?
We'll get you something like
He's probably one of my more expensive horses because of the colors.
Okay.
Yeah, the red horses like that, that's the most common color. They tend to bring a little bit less money. This is a Palomino. It's a gold color. They bring a little bit more. Dutch is a paint horse. The 2 different colors.
What's the difference?
The colors.
The colors is what
Yeah, he's got 2 different colors.
the type of horse it is.
It's not the breed. That's just the colors.
Just the colors.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they like them. In Texas, they call it a flashy color. They like flashy horses. It's like buying a car, and if you like flashy cars, and you want a really pretty car that's super fancy, you might pay a little more. Other people were like, I don't like fancy cars, and they want to get a sorrel, which is this red. Or some people, like This Taco is called a bay. He's dark brown with a black mane and tail. And then this horse over here, the gray one, is called Freckles. And he's a gray with little dots. He's got little freckle dots all over him on his face. And then the one at the very end is Ringo. And he's a 3-colored paint. And he's really not as well behaved of a horse as these other ones.
He's got a bit of a temper.
But he's a little stubborn at times.
Okay.
But he's got really pretty colors. So if I was to go to sell him, he would bring more money than well, maybe more than Dutch, but definitely more than Cisco, the Palomino, or one of the red horses. Either of those red horses are better horses than than the paint, but they don't look as pretty. So people go for pretty.
Yeah. Tell me, David, we keep hearing about cowboy lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, like Texas and all these interesting places. When we say cowboy lifestyle, what is it about? Is it the horses and the barbecue?
It's a state of mind.
Okay.
That the dream of, you know, being out in the country and being around horses, and but there's a lot of people that are, you know, they wear the Western clothes, and they are at least as much of a cowboy as I am. The traditional word cowboy meant that you managed cows, and you don't see any cows around here.
I don't see any cows around here.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So it's hard to call me a cowboy because I don't manage cows.
Okay.
But there's plenty of people that they've never even ridden a horse, but they wear all the cowboy clothes and they consider themselves cowboys. And I'm totally okay with that. You know, it's a state of mind.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So 20 odd years in the business.
Yeah, 20, June, it'll be 20 exactly in June.
Okay.
Yeah, this June was my 20th anniversary. I did it part-time until 2013, I think, and then I started doing it full-time.
I understand you worked for Verizon before you...
I worked for Verizon for 29 years, yeah. Yep, and
You're closer to nature.
oh yeah, I love this. I love being around the horses, meeting people. Before the pandemic, I had lots and lots of international customers, and I'm hoping that they're coming back because I really enjoy international customers. I love hearing about their culture and them learning about Texas and learning about horses if they don't have them.
Finally, we're in Texas. This part is Southwood, right?
Yes.
What would you recommend as a typical Texan meal? Because we want to have a feel of that.
Yeah.
This show is not just about the exciting places,
Right.
interesting stuff, but
Texas is known for barbecue,
okay.
but a lot of people around here, they like chicken fried steak, which is a very Southern and Texas kind of a meal. It's a tenderized, generally a cheap cut of meat. You tenderize it, bread it, and deep fry it. You fry it like chicken. It looks like fried chicken when it's finished. But Texas has a very, very deep Mexican heritage. So Mexican food is so popular in Texas, it's almost hard to not call it Texas food, because you start asking locals what they want to eat, and a lot of people will instantly just say, I want tacos. Even though it's just become a thing.
Typical Southern America, right?
Oh yeah, that'd be Mexico. Yeah, that'd be Mexico or South America, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, enchiladas and tacos and
Eventually they got Americanized.
Yeah.
Texas.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. There are some Mexican dishes that we created. I think the chimichanga. Someone was telling me that was created in Texas. No one in Mexico eats chimichangas.
This is the Real Travel Show. We are currently at the Frontiers of Flight Museum here in Dallas, Texas. And when we talk about Frontiers of Flight, we're talking about aircrafts, the pioneering aircrafts, that made aviation, aviation in the military or civil aviation possible. And I tell you, we see a lot of very exciting things here. To my left here is the command capsule of Apollo 7. You should know about Apollo 7. Apollo 7 was one of NASA's first command capsules into space. And this is real, just to give you an exact image of what it looked like in those days in 1967 and 68 when people went up into space. And there was a lot of fights for supremacy between the then USSR and the United States of America for dominance into the area of space. And that is why NASA started the Apollo program. And don't forget, Apollo 1 had resulted in the deaths of, some astronauts. This was the first successful Apollo program between October 1968 when it was launched. I mean, it's fascinating. It is mind-blowing to think that astronauts were strapped in this module capsule and sent away all the way into space just to see, for our purposes, what is inside space. And come with me, I'm going to show you something exciting I've seen here as well. Very interesting. This here is an all-weather fighter and attack aircraft, so ultimate, for people in the Navy and the Marine Corps. And this one here, commissioned in 1983, retired just a couple of years ago, which means it had been in the air on several missions. And you can imagine the number of missions this bird here, this Blue Angel's bird, had done all over the world. Absolutely beautiful. And it's more exciting when the US Navy is displaying on high seas these very, very beautiful ultimate fighter aircraft. You don't want to play with something like this, trust me. You can't help but give credit to the pioneers, people who made aviation possible for all of us. And nowadays, you can fly from anywhere in the world to everywhere in the world. Can you imagine this? Once upon a time, this is what aviation looked like. In the 1900s, the Wright brothers, Wilbur and Orville, tried severally and failed. But they didn't give up. They soldiered on, they carried on, they worked harder, they perfected the invention. And today, we have all manner of aircraft. That, my friend, is the can-do spirit. And that's the spirit that should drive future generations into coming forward with newer innovation, newer inventions for the best interests of this human race.
Hello and welcome to the Real Travel Show, where we take you on an exciting journey of fascinating places around the world. Invite your friends. Be my guest on this weekly journey around the world. Discover the food. Oh yes, my friend. The music, arts, culture, and the magical sights and sounds.
Welcome to the Real Travel Show with me, yours truly, Ras Mubarak. And you, my friend, are very welcome.
The area to the right here is the two main exhibits. One is called the SR-71, which to this day is the fastest jet aircraft ever built. It was used to take photographs from high altitudes, and it could go more than 2,000 miles an hour. It was said that if you could fire a bullet from New York to Los Angeles, that airplane would outrun the bullet. It was so fast. And it could go as high as 80,000 feet. So it couldn't be shot down because nobody else could get that high. It was used to take photographs, and it was very expensive to operate. So satellites have taken over the job of photographing high altitude things today. On the second level, there's an exhibit from the 1920s, 1930s, which was an era when aviation was increasing in the United States, and there were a couple of famous aviators. Charles Lindbergh, who was the first one to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, and then a lady, Amelia Earhart, who tried to fly all the way around the world and made it pretty close, but not quite.